Welcome to the afternoon shift. It is Friday, January 9th. I'm Adam Lorenz. We thank you all so much for joining us here on this Friday afternoon, the end of what's been an incredibly busy and heartbreaking news week here at Fox 9 and in the entire Twin Cities area. We are continuing our coverage of the shooting that took place on Wednesday of 37-year-old Renee Good by an ICE officer. When there are more developments, we will continue to bring you those. For the latest on all of that, go to fox9.com, the Fox local app. Fox 9 has you covered with all things as it pertains to this story. I think the biggest development that came out today was a new video angle of the shooting that took place on Wednesday. Obviously, there's an ongoing investigation, and when we get more details on that, we will be sure to pass you all along, whether it happens during this hour today or even next week. We are on top of this story, and we will continue to bring you the latest. Like I said, it's been a very long and heartbreaking news week here. I know so many of my colleagues in this building are probably just totally exhausted from this story and just so many of the other stories that really just wrench at your heart. But we are on it, and we will continue to bring you everything that we know. I am joined today by my colleague and afternoon shift producer, Grace Henry. Grace, what's going on? How are you?
Hi, I'm good. It's been a crazy week. I think everyone in the building's feeling it. Mm-hmm. It's a lot of emotional stories and I mean, it's ongoing, and like you were saying, Fox 9 will have you covered all weekend long. I have lots of video right now of different protests happening around the state. So this story will continue, especially as the investigation begins to unfold. But yeah, I'm doing good. Otherwise, I'm excited for the weekend. The sun is shining. It's warm by Minnesota standards, so that's always something to be happy about.
That is good. Grace, you mentioned some of this protest video. Is it worth bringing up and showing the people?
I don't think we're able to take it right now.
Okay.
It's basically, I believe we are live streaming it to our YouTube. So if you go to your YouTube, you'll find it there.
There you go.
I'm seeing video outside of the Whipple Federal Building in St. Paul. And I'm also seeing video of a gathering, what looks like it's at the location of a shooting on 34th and Portland.
Yeah. So many different protests and memorials that are growing throughout the Twin Cities. I know that this has all been making national headlines, and it's been obviously huge here as well. Like Grace said, and like I said, we'll continue to bring you the latest. Obviously, we're going to have much more on this story at the Fox 9 News at 5 o'clock, which is coming up in just a little less than 2 hours. All right, let's get into some headlines. All of them really pertain to the story that went down on Wednesday. Let's start with Governor Tim Walz, who proclaimed today as a day of unity, inviting Minnesotans and Americans to participate in acts of service in honor and remembrance of Renee Good, who was fatally shot on Wednesday by the ICE officer. The governor said, and I quote, "While we cannot bring back Renee Good, we can honor her life by standing together for decency, democracy, compassion, and our shared values." The governor also encouraged businesses today to observe a moment of silence at 10 a.m. So again, that's a day of unity as proclaimed by Governor Tim Walz yesterday for today. Now, another fallout of Wednesday's shooting. Comedian John Mulaney has postponed 3 upcoming shows in Minneapolis that were going to go down at the Armory following the fatal shooting of Renee Good by the ICE officer. Mulaney was originally scheduled to perform tonight, tomorrow, and Sunday night at the Armory in downtown Minneapolis. But in an Instagram post yesterday, John said, and I quote again, "What's happening in your city is heartbreaking. I have to postpone shows in a town going through such awful challenges and such grief because it feels unfair to the audience." Again, that's comedian John Mulaney. You may know him from Saturday Night Live. He has a number of specials that are out on various streaming services. He has postponed his 3 upcoming shows, one of which was going to be tonight at the Armory in downtown Minneapolis because of the shooting. Okay, now, Minneapolis Federation of Teachers President Marcia Howard announced on Facebook last night that Minneapolis public schools will offer students the option to learn from home until February 12th. That's Thursday, February 12th, e-learning available to students. Yes, Grace.
Yeah, I mean, I just kind of wanted to jump in and talk to you a little bit about this.
Yeah.
It's you want students in school, you want them learning, you want them, interacting with their peers, participating in extracurricular activities, but the Minneapolis Public School District thinks that this is a good option for students who might be uncomfortable going to school or feeling unsafe at this time. I know there are a number of other schools around the metro area who have canceled classes. I know Fridley did not have in-person school today. They had e-learning. So, as we continue this conversation and news stories develop, again, Fox 9 News will have you covered with all the latest school district closings and everything you need to know in that regard.
Yeah, absolutely. And Grace, while I have you, I know I kind of just went through the John Mulaney. You're much more cool and hip than I am. Are you familiar with John's work? I know some of his work, but not all of it.
Yeah, I actually was thinking about going to one of his shows.
No.
Tickets were very expensive. He is very much beloved, and I was kind of surprised that he was performing at the Armory because that is one of the smaller venues. I assumed you'd be going to, whether it be Grand Casino Arena or Target Center. But yeah, this is a big deal. 3 nights at the Armory. I don't know exactly how many people fit in the Armory, but a lot of people will be changing their plans. But he obviously did what he thinks is best. And I mean, there's lots of businesses around the metro area who have closed their doors for the time being, just out of whether it be an abundance of caution or to kind of give their employees a moment of reprieve. Yeah, so I'm sure as this continues, we'll see more events that are canceled or postponed, and businesses that'll, stay closed or reopen. But like I said, I'm sure Fox 9 will have you covered. Yeah,
and I certainly don't blame John Mulaney. Hard to make jokes, especially in light of everything that we've seen this week. Okay, it's coming up on 3:08. We have an absolutely jam-packed show for you all. We're going to try to turn the page forward, if you will, certainly not forgetting about Wednesday's incident. And if something breaks during this hour, we will be sure to bring that to you live. We're going to bring everything to you as we see it, as we know what happens. But just to try to turn the page a little bit and get into a little bit more positive news, we have a couple local angles of stories that are happening this weekend. Coming up right after this commercial break, we're going to be talking to Father Richard Kunst. He is the curator of this exhibit called Vatican Unveiled. It's coming to Mall of America. It's opening tomorrow to the public. This interview was recorded on Monday. Father Richard was actually in Rome. He had a little bit of an audience with Pope Leo, so it was an awesome interview with him inside St. Peter's Square, talking all about the exhibit. And then I had the chance to go to Mall of America this morning to see the exhibit myself with him. It's absolutely exceptional. Hopefully, we'll be able to roll in one of those clips next week. So a little bit of a preview of Vatican Unveiled, which opens to the public tomorrow, coming up right after this commercial break. Then after that, Christine Link, she's a registered dietitian. You may have seen there's a brand new food pyramid that's been put out by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Department of Agriculture. She's going to be telling us all about that. The big headline with it is this thing about protein, Grace, right?
Yeah, and I actually was on the phone earlier with Christine, and she'll fill us in, but there's been a lot of buzz in the dietitian community. She's actually part of this organization called the Minnesota some organization that is statewide, and there's been a lot of buzz. She didn't say exactly what it was regarding, but there have been, like you said, big changes with proteins, with an emphasis on using certain fats, and then sugar is a big one. I know the guidelines pretty much call for children to cut out any added sugar, and then for adults to limit it to be 10 grams per meal, which is an interesting thing to try to achieve here in the United States of America when we have lots of processed food. So it'll be a great conversation. There's a lot to talk about there. And again, just with everything that happened this week, I feel like we haven't really had a chance to dive into this, but this is pretty big news, and it could have, Well, I'm excited to hear what Christine's perspective on all of these changes are.
Absolutely. It kind of fell underneath the radar this week, but it is. And we all probably know that food pyramid of growing up, going to grade school, whatnot. It's been totally newly revamped and updated. Christine will be able to provide some perspective on that. And then finally, Christine will be in studio. David Booth, he is a Special Olympics Minnesota athlete, also on the board for the 2026 Special Olympics USA Games. They're coming here to the Twin Cities. The vast majority of the events are taking place on the University of Minnesota's campus. There's a couple of events taking place in Blaine as well. But David's going to be coming in talking about volunteer opportunities. That's right. You at home, you can volunteer for the Special Olympics USA Games. Over 3,000 athletes from all 50 states, all coming to the Twin Cities this June, and they need volunteers. David's going to be talking all about that and also ways to fundraise to help make the games possible, not just for him and other Special Olympics Minnesota athletes, but really for athletes all across the USA. Think of these as the Olympics, folks, except instead of competing as countries, you're competing against one another as states. It was very cool. I had the chance to go to the 2022 Special Olympics USA Games in Orlando, Florida. It was awesome. And so I think it's going to be really neat that this initiative is coming here to Minnesota, and David Booth is the perfect person to break it all down for us. So that's a jam-packed show. When we come out of commercial break, we'll be throwing it to Rome, Italy to talk all about Vatican Unveiled. You don't have to go all the way to Rome to go see Vatican Unveiled. You can just go to Mall of America in Bloomington. There's over 300 different papal artifacts there, and Father Richard Kuntz is the curator of all of it. My chat with him is coming up right after this commercial break. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back to the afternoon shift. It is just about 3:15, and if you're just joining us and you're looking for some programming all about Wednesday's shooting involving the ICE agent and the death of Renee Good, We will bring you the latest when we have more information. Nothing is really breaking right now. For all the latest with that story, just go to fox9.com, the Fox Local app. We've got everything there. And then, of course, if something comes up during this hour, we'll bring it to you. But we're trying to turn the page a little bit, if you will, and this is more positive news. Tomorrow, a new exhibit is coming to Mall of America. It's called Vatican Unveiled. It's the world's largest collection of papal artifacts anywhere in the world outside of Rome. And of course, we're going to go to Rome next to talk to the curator of Vatican Unveiled. His name is Father Richard Kunst. He's a priest in the Diocese of Duluth, Minnesota. He is the curator of this entire exhibit. He was in Rome earlier this week, which is when we recorded this Zoom call. He's now back here in Bloomington. I saw him this morning at Mall of America. It's a spectacular exhibit, folks. You got to go check it out. But first, a little bit of a preview of it with Father Richard Kunst live from St. Peter's Square in Rome, Italy. Joining us now from Rome, Italy, is Father Richard Kunst, the curator of Vatican Unveiled, coming to Mall of America beginning this Saturday and running through February 1st. Father Kunst, thank you so much for joining us today. I appreciate it.
Thanks, Adam. It's good to be here. It's good to take a little break from Rome to visit with you.
Absolutely. What a spectacular background that we have there. You're at St. Peter's Square. Can you tell us why you're in Rome right now?
I lead tours to Rome and just little small group tours. And this happened to actually be in place as a tour before we actually even planned the dates for the Vatican Unveiled. So this is butting up right up against the start of the Vatican Unveiled.
That's
so
right.
I'm leading a tour.
That's right. And you're coming back here to Minnesota for Vatican Unveiled. You're a priest in the Diocese of Duluth, but I know you'll be at Mall of America this weekend. Can you tell the people what exactly is Vatican Unveiled all about?
Well, the Vatican Unveiled is basically, it's the Archdiocese celebrating their 175th anniversary as a diocese. And Archbishop Hebda reached out to me about having a show of the collection that I curate as part of the celebrations of the 175th anniversary of the Archdiocese.
Yeah. And it's going to be such a spectacular exhibit at Mall of America. I read over 300 papal artifacts over the course of centuries that'll be there. It's all part of your collection. Can you give the viewers, what are some of the more interesting pieces that they'll be able to see there?
Yeah, you'll get the, when the cardinals get together for the Sistine Chapel to elect a pope, they always seal the doors shut. There's 4 exterior doors of the Sistine Chapel. We'll have the full set of seals that were there for the conclave that elected John Paul II in 1978. There'll be there's basically a house coat that Pope Pius XII wore during World War II. He didn't heat the Vatican apartments, and so they made an extra house coat to keep him warm. That will be there as well.
Yeah.
And hundreds of other things as well.
Yeah. And it's funny that you mentioned Pope Pius XII. Of course, he was Cardinal Eugenio Pacelli and actually visited the Cathedral of St. Paul a couple years before he became Pope. I'm dropping some knowledge on you there, Father. I hope it's not too much for you.
No, 1936. In 1936, he spent several weeks in the United States, and one of the places he hit was the Archdiocese of St. Paul, Minneapolis.
That's right. It was considered one of the highest-ranking Catholic visits from Rome to the United States at the time. Speaking of Catholic visits, do you think that this exhibit would only be interesting to Catholic visitors, or do you think even non-Catholics, maybe even non-Christians, would also appreciate some of the stuff that's at Vatican Unveiled?
Well, there's a faith element to it, but I would say it's more a history element. And so, and we have a shared history, at least among Christians, up until the 16th century. And so the fact of the matter is there are things that way predate that are going to be in the exhibit. So that's a shared history. But anyone that'd be interested in history in general, I think would find this very fascinating. One of my often repeated lines is that popes don't have Roman sales. So these types of things that are out of the Vatican, that have come out of the Vatican, are very unique, and you won't see these anywhere else.
Yeah.
So this is really a unique opportunity, especially in the setting of the Mall of America.
No doubt. Can you talk about your friends at Mall of America? Why choose Mall of America to have this? I know you live in Duluth. This could have been in Duluth. This could have been really anywhere in the United States. Why keep it here in Minnesota?
Well, because it's in the Archdiocese, Archbishop Hebda reached out to us, so it's going to be somewhere in the Archdiocese. And we went through several different venues to see which one would work best for what we were planning on doing. And it happened to be the Mall of America that worked out best. And so that is good because it sets it in a more secular setting. And it's also going to be a great thing for people that are in the typical mall traffic, as you would call it, that might be able to come in there and that, would never go to it otherwise, except for that they were already there.
Yeah. Yeah. Is this a free exhibit, or do people have to purchase tickets? And if they have to purchase tickets, where can they get that?
Yeah, it's purchasing tickets through the Archdiocese. You can basically, I mean, all you have to do is Google Vatican Unveiled Mall of America. It's going to bring you right to the site.
Mm-hmm.
And so you can buy tickets right at the gate, or you can buy them early. But yeah, the tickets are for sale.
Yeah. I was on that website that you just mentioned, and I was looking at some of the other things that are going to be there. One of the coolest things I saw that's going to be part of Vatican Unveiled are helmets from the Swiss Guard. Maybe you at home don't know what the Swiss Guard is by their name. They have these very cool looking uniforms. They're there really to protect the Pope. Can you confirm, are some of the helmets from the Swiss Guard actually going to be there?
Yes, there's going to be, I believe, 3 Swiss Guard helmets from different eras.
Amazing.
And then, as well as 3 full Swiss Guard uniforms from different eras as well, because they changed their uniform through the years.
Yes, that's going to be awesome. You're in Rome right now. Have you had the chance to have some time with Pope Leo? Is Pope Leo aware of Vatican Unveiled here at Mall of America?
Well, I did speak to him actually back in October about the exhibit of Mall of America, and so he's aware of it. Does he still remember it? I have no idea, but I did talk to him about that. It was on October 29th. I had an opportunity to visit with him shortly, and I talked to him about it. But the opportunity we had with Pope Leo for this trip was with about maybe 100,000 of our friends. So there's a lot of people that were with us.
Sure. Is there going to be any artifacts from Pope Leo, our first American Pope, that'll be part of Vatican Unveiled, or is he kind of too recent for the exhibit?
He's a little bit too recent for the exhibit as far as like what I've been able to curate. I think we have a couple of really small, minor things that were associated with his election and maybe the time that he's named cardinal that dates to that event. But other than that, it's nothing of significance.
Yeah. That'll be the next Vatican Unveiled in 50 years.
It will be.
Or in 25 years to celebrate the 200th anniversary. Look, Father Kuntz, you're in St. Peter's Square right now. Maybe a little bit of a tour of St. Peter's Square. What are you seeing behind you? Can you take our viewers here in Minnesota? What's it like out there?
Yeah, well, right now we've been in a monsoon. It's been raining like crazy here, but the wine and the pasta still taste the same despite the rain. And so right behind us, what you're looking is at the dome and the facade of St. Peter's, and also it's still Christmas time, liturgically speaking, in the church. And so you see a beautiful Christmas tree that's got lights going crazy, and then there's a big manger scene. I don't know if it turned around, you might be able to see a little bit of the manger scene underneath what we call the obelisk. The obelisk is the big, long structure that looks like the Washington Monument. In fact, the Washington Monument is modeled after the mosque, the obelisk. And so that's what you're probably looking at on the screen right now.
So cool. I think 2 elements that most American viewers know, especially because we just had the conclave this past spring, the balcony where the new pope comes out, Habeas Papam. Where exactly is that in construct of where you're at right now?
Well, if you can see the obelisk, that structure, that big stone structure, it's literally right behind it. And the fact of the matter is that it's called the Central Loggia. And the Central Loggia is now set up the exact same way it was for the conclave. That's because Pope Leo tomorrow for the end of the Holy Year is going to come out and give an address on the exact same spot with the curtains there. It's way in the background. I don't know if you can see it on your screen, but those curtains are not normally up. So they've got that set up for a very solemn papal pronouncement tomorrow for the end of the Holy Year. Holy Year ends tomorrow. We've had since December 24th of 2024, it's been a Holy Year in the church, and now it ends tomorrow.
So cool. How about the chimney where the white smoke comes up?
The chimney is only up for the conclave, so you can't see the chimney. But you can see, it's kind of dark right now, but you can see the Sistine Chapel is kind of tucked away, a little A-frame roof-like type of thing, and that's where the cardinals gather. Yeah. And the chimney's only put up during the conclave itself.
So cool. So cool to have you join us from St. Peter's Square, and we look forward to your return here in Minnesota, and I'm very excited for Vatican Unveiled. It opens this Saturday, folks, runs through February 1st at Mall of America. Father Richard Kuntz, you're the curator of it, and I look forward to seeing you there, and hope to chat with you there, and maybe we can look at some of the exact artifacts, and you can kind of give the viewers a bit of an explanation on more specific things.
Adam, I'd be happy to bring you around and show you the collection up close.
Awesome. Thank you, Father Kuntz. Safe travels back here to Minnesota, and we'll see you soon at Mall of America.
Thanks a lot. God bless.
Awesome. Thanks, Father. Thank you. What an awesome exhibit. Vatican Unveiled is going to be at Mall of America opening this Saturday, running through February 1st. I hope to get there this weekend and give you all some more exclusive coverage from Vatican Unveiled. All right, let's go to a commercial break, and when we come back, we will have more from the afternoon shift. Welcome back to the afternoon shift. The U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the U.S. Department of Agriculture put out a new dietary food pyramid, if you will. And joining us now to explain it is registered dietitian Christine Link. Christine, welcome to the afternoon shift. How are you?
Yeah, I'm great. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, right before we came on air, we were talking about this. Growing up, and I'm sure many of you at home can relate, I feel like there was this pyramid, food pyramid, and it looked very 90s and whatever. And now I saw the graphic, the new one online. It's kind of definitely a little new wave and whatever, but some actual substance of the pyramid has changed. So what are the big changes here?
So yes, there was different, iterations of the pyramid in the past. So the original one was kind of the flip of what you see today with the brand new guidelines. And that was 15 years ago. So that was when it got phased out, was 15. They originally released.
That's what I was
born. The original one. See, there you go.
Yeah.
I'm old. But the original one where you saw the base that had grains and then it went up.
That's right.
With the fats at the very top. So yes, that was I want to say around 92. Okay. A long time ago. Yeah. They updated it.
Don't call me that old now.
Well,
no, I'm joking.
We don't need to go there.
Sure.
But they did update it. Oh gosh, it was was it around 2005-ish? Don't quote me on that. But where I don't know if you remember the one that had the vertical lines that went up in it. And that one was a little funky. It was a little weird. Yeah. But it got phased out in 2011.
Okay.
So we have not had a pyramid since 2011. At that point, we had My Plate that was introduced.
Okay, I remember
It was
this.
a little more user-friendly, in my opinion. You could see, a picture of a plate and then squared off in different sections for where the food should be. And it gave kind of an approximation of what those sizes, what the portion sizes should be on your plate. So, but yeah, this new one is interesting. They flipped it around, if you've seen it. There's some interesting things that I think are positive with it. There's some things that I think are going to be hard to fit some of the guidelines with it. But yeah, it's a new look. Yeah. It's a new look.
Let's start off with the positive. What are some of the positive changes that you see to it here?
I love that they've emphasized fruits and vegetables at the top.
Sure.
So, as a society, Americans, we don't get enough fruits and vegetables. So, and that hasn't changed. No matter which iteration or version, if it was my plate, the pyramid, they always have had an emphasis on fruits and vegetables, which, I mean, I think that makes sense, right? Yeah. We know those are good for us.
Sure.
So, yes, I like that we're still emphasizing fruits and vegetables there.
Yeah. I know one other huge point of emphasis in this pyramid is on proteins, and you've seen all these commercials now. There's a fast food chain. They're offering protein in a cup, just chicken in a cup. It's like, it's crazy. I just see protein everywhere. What does that mean to like inhale protein? Like, I feel like so many people are focused on. It's crazy.
It is crazy.
Yeah.
I do think protein's definitely having a moment right now, and it's not going to go away, especially with these new dietary guidelines. Previously, recommendations had been 0.8 to 1.0 grams per kilogram was the, and I know that means nothing to most people.
Yeah.
But with these new dietary guidelines, they bumped it up to 1.2 grams per kilogram to 1.6 grams per kilogram. So they increased protein requirements, which is interesting because it seemed like when you look at the new upside down pyramid, they put like red meats up there. They've got, those are foods that tend to be, or protein sources that tend to be a little higher in saturated fat. We do still, in these new dietary guidelines, have the recommendation to limit saturated fats to 10% of our total diet calories. So, so that part hasn't changed, but they are increasing the protein requirements. So we'll see how that plays out. But yeah, I definitely agree. You're seeing a lot more protein being marketed. A lot of manufacturers are jumping on this bandwagon. And you mentioned the fast food chain. You're going to see more and more marketing, I would predict, when it comes to protein.
What's your favorite way to get protein? I mean, your own personal Christine Link. I do like Greek yogurt. That's one of my breakfast options. See, I would have thought that would just be dairy and no protein in that. That's not true?
No. Yogurt, Greek yogurt especially, is a nice concentrated source of some good protein. And then of course, I mean, I'm pretty boring. Chicken I find to be a very versatile protein. You can do so much with it. I usually keep some cooked chicken breasts in my refrigerator. At almost any given time, because you can throw it in a salad, you can make a wrap, you can do so many different things with chicken, and it takes so many different flavors. If I'm feeling fancy, I'll throw a steak in there too. Beef is a little expensive right now. If you've been out to the grocery stores these days, beef prices have crept up. But yeah, sirloin is always a good choice. That's a family favorite.
Let me ask you a question, because I know this is, we're in cattle country here, and steak country. If you're going out to go get a steak, I'm speaking to a dietitian here. What's the best way to order your steak? Because if you get that steak rare, are you getting the same sort of benefits as if you get the same?
Nutrition's the same. It's just obviously the level of doneness. So I personally like mine medium rare. Some people, that's too pink for them. Like to go a little heavier on the cooked side. But no, your nutrition is going to be the same. So there are, obviously within steak, there's different cuts. There's different, if you have the more marbled meats, which do tend to be the more, juicy, delicious kind of meats. But the marbling is fat. So that is going to have a higher, amount of fat, saturated fat, of course, in that cut of meat. I'm a little scared of prime rib. If you've ever done those, there's so much gristle and fat on those things.
For sure.
So yeah, I tend to, and especially if you are doing a leaner cut of meat like a sirloin, I don't like having it too well done because it's like shoe leather. If you can keep it on the medium to medium rare side, it's going to still be tender. If you overcook a lean cut of meat, it gets tough.
Yeah. Well, the proteins, I know it's a huge part of this. Another huge part of this are whole foods. What exactly is considered a whole food? It's not just the grocery store. It's an actual thing, but I feel like people don't really know what the definition of that is.
That's a great question.
Yeah.
I don't know that I can give you like a, Webster's definition, but for me, a whole food, I think of my brain goes to produce, and I think of the way that it's most naturally grown. So you're using a potato versus the chips, let's say, or French fries, or so that food in its most natural state.
Yeah. I always get so confused, and listen, like I want to eat whole foods, and I want to think that I'm doing the right thing. Sometimes when I have a whole food, like let's say it's a bag of steamed broccoli, okay? So I make it. The minute you put the butter and the salt in that, though, is that and that makes what makes the broccoli taste good.
Right.
But does that do you not recommend people doing that, or?
You're still getting the broccoli.
Yeah.
If the butter and the salt is going to make you eat the broccoli, then have the butter and the salt.
Yeah.
If no butter and salt means no broccoli, then do the butter and the salt.
Do the butter and the salt.
Yeah.
I guess that kind of
That's my opinion.
Your opinion.
Yes.
And your opinion, obviously, super valuable here. I know one other thing that's huge on this is 10 grams of sugar per meal for people. That could be a very difficult thing for people to accomplish, especially if you like having a Coca-Cola with your dinner. Yeah. I mean, that's way more than 10 grams of sugar right there.
Yeah, you've blown that one out.
You've blown it out of the water. And if you want dessert, that's going to be more. But again, dessert separate. Like, how can we keep the 10 grams of sugar kind of under,
I would keep an eye on condiments. So there can be sneaky sources of sugar. Ketchup, check your ketchup label, see how much sugar is in there. Barbecue sauce also can be a sneaky source. So check your condiments. And that's not even going like towards dessert necessarily, or if you want to talk cookies or, the fun stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would keep an eye on condiments.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. We were just talking about beef. I saw another thing that they recommended, beef tallow recommended for cooking. Whatever had happened just to using butter or
I don't know.
What about the Pam spray? What is beef tallow?
I can't even answer. That's a head scratcher to me personally. I've never used beef tallow, seen beef tallow cooked with. I couldn't tell you the answer to that one. I don't know where it's coming from.
What is it?
Beef fat is my understanding.
It's beef fat.
I've not ever seen it, played with it. I don't understand where it came from.
Yeah.
So,
but that's in the recommendations.
I don't understand.
Yeah.
And it is a higher in saturated fat. So it's as a dietitian, if you're gonna cook cooking in fat, I would rather do an olive oil. Something that's more of an unsaturated fat source.
Sure.
Sure.
Another thing I know a lot of people kind of struggle with, ultra processed foods.
Right.
Listen, I know you're going to say just don't do them. Like don't eat the candy bar, don't eat the chips. It's not so easy for some people, but maybe some advice from our resident dietitian.
My go-to word is always moderation.
Sure.
And there's no bad foods. So, if you're going to have some chips here and there, having a little, you can get those little mini-sized Snicker bars. Love those.
That's right.
Every now and then, it's not going to kill you. And nobody wants to be deprived either. So I'm all for moderation. Yes, they are considered, the ultra-processed foods, if you will.
Yeah.
But, moderation.
Yeah. And speaking of moderation, that's a great segue into alcohol. These new guidelines, they don't offer a specific limit on alcohol.
Right.
So I don't think the government's telling us, hey, let's go have a bender every single weekend here. I don't think that's what they want us to do. But if they're not saying any specific limit on alcohol, again, from you, how many drinks per week should we legitimately, if we choose to drink, should we be limiting ourselves?
The old guidelines had the recommendations of 1 per day for women, 2 drinks per day for men.
That's a lot.
So, was where
if you're a man, that's 14 drinks a week.
So that was, if I'm not mistaken,
that's 56
that
drinks
was
a
the
month.
old guidelines. So,
That's a lot,
Dr. Oz said, I don't know if you heard his statements.
Oh.
He wouldn't put a number on amount of alcohol to limit, and I believe the words he used were, it's a social lubricant. And
Yes,
so we
I
would
did hear
rather
that, yeah.
have you his understanding is that if it encourages, socialization and that's good for people's health as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess we'll go with moderation on
Sure.
that one again.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
maybe
no
I don't-
specific numbers were given.
if we're creating our own guidelines, you and me, Christine, here, I would
Right.
say, okay, so that's you're saying 14 drinks a week per man. That was
See,
the
now
old
you got me questioning. Are my numbers? Am I
I-
not remembering it right?
If let's say the numbers are right, what about just like cutting that in half? How about that? How about
Right.
7 drinks? And
Yeah.
if maybe, and I don't know if it should be that different for men and women here, but
Right.
maybe
Well,
7 drinks a week
there
seems
is
like
some,
a good cap, yeah.
if I remember correctly, again, there was some literature about that men and women metabolize alcohol a little differently, and that's why men get
Yeah.
that pass to have a little bit more than women,
And our,
men tend to weigh more than women in general as well. So.
Yes, and our producer Grace, she's telling me you're right with those numbers.
Oh,
by the
am
way.
I?
You were absolutely right.
My memory served me for
56 drinks
So-
per week, the old government guideline, if you were a man, and 28 drinks per month. Grace, what's that? One more time. I'm sorry. Oh, okay, all right. No, we're doing some math here behind
right.
the scenes here, but
Math is
but
hard.
that's a lot. So maybe we can kind of cut that. There's ways to
And
cut
they
that
do
out.
say, and I know this wasn't in the guidelines, but if you read or research, there is no safe amount, is what kind of one of the taglines is
Totally.
as well. So
Totally. Christine, you've seen these guidelines. Is there anything that you would say if somebody is trying to begin a fitness journey here?
Yeah.
We just turned over into the new year. What's like maybe the main takeaway that you would take from this?
Well, one thing that I don't know that I saw that was necessarily emphasized in the guidelines that I personally would recommend is don't forget hydration. I start every day, I drink 20 ounces of water when I get up in the morning. I think, and I know it's pretty trendy right now to have your little Stanley tumblers around with you, but water is so important. And I think it's an important piece of our health that
Totally.
I don't know if it was necessarily, you don't necessarily see it in the pyramid. I think it might have been mentioned in the guidelines, but
Yes.
yeah, I would say drinking plenty of water, making sure you're hydrated is another key.
Yes, awesome. Christine Link, registered dietitian. We really do appreciate your perspective on these new federal dietary guidelines. I now know what a whole food is. I'm very happy about this. So thank you,
Great.
Christine.
Thank you for having me.
I appreciate it. When we come back from commercial break, we're going to welcome in David Booth from Special Olympics Minnesota to tell us all about volunteer opportunities going on for this summer's upcoming 2026 Special Olympics USA Games. Don't miss that interview. It's coming up right after this break. We'll see you then. Welcome back to the afternoon shift. I am so excited about this. The 2026 Special Olympics USA Games, they are coming to the Twin Cities this June. Planning is already well underway. And joining us now is one of the chief planners of the USA Games. He's a Special Olympics Minnesota athlete and a board member of the USA Games, David Booth. David, welcome to the afternoon shift. How are you? Welcome back to the afternoon shift. How are you?
Doing fantastic, Adam. It's always great to be here talking with you and talking about the games. And, you know, spreading the joy and giving people an opportunity to showcase who they are. On a national stage.
Yeah, I think our viewers absolutely love you. You're an inspiration to all of us as well. I mean, you really are. Everything that you embody.
Well, I could say that for all of you because you show kindness, graceness in a time when maybe that's not as prevalent as we wish it to be. Mm-hmm. You guys are the exception, and we give you a tool to showcase that on a national stage.
Man, I always leave me speechless. For real. That was very nice, David. I really do appreciate that. Thank you. We're bringing you here today. I know volunteering opens up very soon and they're important. People, we need volunteers for the USA Games. Why are volunteers so important to the success of the games?
Because it's an opportunity to showcase who you are. They're not just in the USA Games, but in the mission of Special Olympics. You tell me an organization that exists out there that offers an environment where everyone is truly included. And you can be whoever you want to be. We don't come in here with a preset expectation of what you need to be. You can be who you want, show yourself proudly to amongst as many people as possible, and we all see that, and we want to include you.
How could you not want to sign up to be a volunteer after that? When does registration open?
February.
Okay. So we're coming up here, and anybody can volunteer, correct?
Exactly. Anybody can volunteer. And honestly, just being a fan, you're volunteering.
Sure.
Because, as I said before, you be you. That's all we want. We see you, and we want you.
Yeah, even if you've got no Special Olympics experience.
Exactly. Especially if you don't have any Special Olympics experience.
Yeah.
Because especially at a time that we're living right now, we need a beacon of light. We need to see a different reality. And for those who have never heard of Special Olympics or have never been a part of it, as a representative of athletes across the nation, I encourage you. No, I would say I see you, and you deserve inclusion too. So come be a part of this.
Sure.
Come be a part of this wonderful experience. Because at the end of the day, we want to see you happy as well.
Yeah, that's amazing. And I know the volunteer opportunities, they're really cool. I mean, some of these things, like you could be a referee in some of these events. What are some of the ways that volunteers get enacted? It's not just signing paperwork. I mean, and that can be a part of it, of course. But what are some ways that people do volunteer during these events?
So, again, we have a wide variety of roles, and you'll get more information when you sign up online because there is no paperwork when it comes to online. You can just sign right up there. Now, one unique thing that will be different from other previous USA Games is volunteers will be carrying what are called digital credentials. So when you get the USA Games app, and that's actually what's fantastic about our app, it will have all of your volunteer information. We'll have all your credentials on there, so you don't even need to carry like lanyards or anything like that. You can just check out your phone.
Yeah.
It will tell you what time you need to be at your place, what days you're scheduled to volunteer, and where you need to be. So we've made this as flexible as possible for you as the volunteers. And you don't have to sign up the whole day. You could sign up for an hour.
Sure.
Or if you want, sign up all 7 days. We are completely flexible to you, and that's what we made sure to drive home with our volunteer experience. That's as flexible and as inclusive to your needs as possible.
Yeah. And David, I had the chance to go to the 2022 USA Games in Orlando. I saw firsthand how big the volunteer experience is there. But you bring up this credentials point. Hopefully the pin trading doesn't go away with everything going online, right? The pin trading at Special Olympics events. Each state's got their own pin, and you trade with the different states, and that's not going away, is it?
I would guarantee that won't go away because our athletes will make sure that doesn't happen. Because, as I said before, our athletes are some of the most inclusive individuals you will ever meet in your lives. So they want to see you smile, and they'll present you with a pin.
No lie about that. No lie. Okay, I know fundraising is another big part of the USA Games. You're organizing a fundraising walk called 26 for 26. What's the significance of that name? What's it all about?
So it actually derives from the fact that in previous years I've done what are called marathon walks. So I've walked 26, 23, 25, 27 and a half miles to help raise money for Special Olympics Minnesota. And by the way, that's straight. There's no stopping.
Okay.
So for this particular one, the reason I call it 26 for 26 is I will be walking 26 straight miles, a whole marathon, in honor of the 2026 Games. It will start up in Coon Rapids and go past the National Sports Complex, which is the second site where we'll have events at.
In Blaine.
In Blaine, Minnesota.
Yep.
And all the way down to Huntington Bank Stadium to represent the U campus. And again, the idea is to showcase what the mission of Special Olympics means not only to me, but to all athletes and their families and fans across this great nation. Yeah. And for me, it is my way of saying thank you to all of them, to all of you, because you guys truly are the builders. You guys are the most important people that make the mission of Special Olympics possible. Yeah, I may be an advocate, I may be the guy behind the microphone, but I truly would not be here without each and every one of you. So this is my way of saying thank you to all of you and giving everything I can to ensure that the light of Special Olympics can shine bright well after the Games, not just in the Twin Cities, but in our entire country and the world as a whole.
So well said. And if you want to learn more about that 26 for 26 walk, just Google David Booth 26 for 26. You'll see it right there. Quickly, I know one other thing that I wanted to get to, the various polar plunges fundraising initiatives. Well, what are these all about? I know that this is something that a lot of people care about here.
So think of it as a local fundraising drive within your communities, because teams set this up, businesses set these up to help raise money for their local Special Olympics organizations. And it's a way to, take a dive for a cause, because the water may be cold, but the generosity of your heart warms any cold that you may feel. And especially when you get to dive for a cause. Yeah,
and that's awesome. And there you go, right there on the website, plungemn.org to learn more and donate to that as well. I want to go back to that beacon of light comment that you made about the 26 or 26. I know with it's big NFL football weekend here, a lot of playoff football going on. The first ever Special Olympics event on a big scale took place at Soldier Field. Obviously, tomorrow night with the Packers and the Bears. Eunice Kennedy Shriver and the eternal flame is still there. And when you were talking about that beacon of light, I was thinking about that eternal flame that is burning right now at Soldier Field in Chicago, and that part of that flame will be coming ultimately here to the Twin Cities with this USA Games experience.
Oh yeah, exactly. Unfortunately, I can't share the details of what the route will be, but it'll be magnificent. And it's going to be carried by a lot of devoted people who carry the flame of hope through all of our communities, because we all deserve that light. Yeah. We all deserve, and the fun thing for all of you to know is there may be a physical flame that we're carrying, but each and every individual, whether watching or carrying that flame, they have that same flame in them. Yeah. And it's in you as well. Yeah. And that eternal flame can help guide you through any adversity, any time that you may feel weak based on what's going on in our world.
Future President of the United States here, David Booth. I think one person that might be holding that flame might just be Ian Leonard, Chief Meteorologist at Fox 9. Maybe. Before we let you go, David, I know you have a surprise for the audience. Why don't you break it out here?
Okay. All right. So I want to finish with a little bit more of my walk. So a tradition I like doing with my walk is I like to wear a flag cape.
Yeah.
So now you see it right here.
Is that the official logo right there?
Yep, that is the official logo, and actually this was an original design that I didn't come up with, but the team did. But I bought 4 flags, 4 of the original flags, and this was one of those 4, and it was based on this design that we made it public, and people from across the nation have been buying it. So it's a very special one. Now, I did want to mention one quick thing about my 26 for 26 walk. there is a perk that if you donate $20 to the plunge, you can you'll get sent a link to a form where you can dedicate your donation in honor of a particular athlete that's competing at the games. And then what we'll do is we'll write the name on the flag. So when I take that walk, it'll carry the name of an athlete that you wish to honor. Because, again, I may be doing the walk, but I'm doing it for everyone as a thank you and as appreciation. Because you may donate and you may give a certain amount of dollars, but now you see a name behind that. You see what it goes to. And it really brings everything together.
So well said. David Booth, we really appreciate you, David. Thank you so much. Just go to Special Olympics at usagames.org for more information. We're going to close out today's show right after this commercial break. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back to the afternoon shift. It's been a jam-packed show here, and of course, we're continuing to cover the story of the ICE officer-involved shooting of 37-year-old Renee Good that happened on Wednesday. For more information on that story, just head over to fox9.com at 5 o'clock. You can tune into the Fox 9 News at 5 o'clock, as well as all of the Fox 9 evening programming news that you normally see on a Friday as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And I can see right now there's protesters gathered outside the the Minnesota State Capitol. Mm-hmm. And again, like I said, at the site where it happened on Wednesday, 34th in Portland, mm-hmm. and also at the Whipple building. So we'll have reporters on the ground all evening long and all weekend long. So stay tuned to Fox 9.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Also right here on Fox 9, it's a huge weekend of football tomorrow afternoon. 3:30 Central Time, the LA Rams heading on to take on the Carolina Panthers. The Panthers beat them in Charlotte earlier this year. That should be a good game. And then on Sunday afternoon, also at 3:30, the San Francisco 49ers, backed by Brock Purdy, Christian McCaffrey, Kyle Shanahan, they're going to Philly to take on the reigning Super Bowl champion, the Philadelphia Eagles, with Jalen Hurts, Devontae Smith, Jaylen Brown, and all those guys. It